pistols at dawn? It's a little old-fashioned, isn't it? Welcome in to the Bro Force Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 262, and I'm your host, the mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for checking us out for the movie discussion tonight. Before we get into it, we have a championship to settle on the pod. Let's go around and meet my fellow bros. We start with the mad scientist, Brian Banner. Banner, as a scientist, you are sort of our version of Q to James Bond. You're always coming up with really sick inventions that we can use for the pod. What's your latest gadget for us, and how does it work?
Well, I don't want to give too much away because patent's still pending, obviously. But I'll just say that I took inspiration from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for this one. So, glory to Willy Wonka.
Is it another vibrator? You always do that and claim it's from Willy Wonka. Yeah.
This one's a gummy bear one, but yeah.
At least it's a new wrinkle to it. I just don't know, do we eat it? I don't think so.
Next, it depends on how big you want it.
That brings us to our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli. Ronnie, be honest with me, okay? We're not during office hours. Is it true that HR sent you an email with a complaint that I've been referring to my penis around the office as Moonraker?
Yes, but also it's weird that you say this because you are actually our HR, so this feels like you really wanted to double down the name of your penis.
Now I know what Kevin Durant feels like because my multiple internet personas, I just get such an adrenaline rush out of corresponding through them.
It's catching up with you.
And that documentary, I already forgot the title of it, but it's about those text messages the girl was getting. That also inspired me. So I'm a slave to trends. So should I be filing a complaint against myself?
Yeah, you absolutely should. I mean, this isn't the first time your multiple personality disorder has come into conflict. So there's some precedent here.
Yeah, and it won't be the last.
Definitely not.
Damn sure. All right, guys. Well, March Madness just recently ended. And here on the Bro Force Squad podcast, every March we do our own Movie Madness tournament bracket. Something in the realm of movies that we put a bracket together centered on. And we hash it out just like the old-fashioned March Madness NCAA basketball tournament. This year's criteria, or I guess category, has been the James Bond movies. So James Bond Movie Madness. However, there are so many James Bond movies, I believe 26 to be exact. So we chopped the field in half to be completed at a later date, probably during the summer. We were discussing during the World Cup is when we'll do the second half. But this Movie Madness tournament featured the first 13 James Bond films, competing in head-to-head matchups to see which is the best, as settled here by the bros. Now, the bracket, which is done in a Google Sheets, is linked in the description of this podcast episode. It's also on our website at broforcesquad.com. Last episode, Cycli, Thurmond, and I had the James Bond movies competing, and we have now gotten it down to the last, what is about to be 6 films to compete and end in a never-before-seen championship match that will be a threesome. So tonight we have 5 matchups to settle. Banner, before we get started, you were not able to be on the last episode. I think it's important context. If you could just tell the people at home, what is your relationship like or your fandom with the James Bond films, especially the first 13 that we're dealing with here, like kind of the OG ones? Do you have a nostalgic vibe for them? Do you think they don't hold up well and you're more of a new age Bond guy?
I like the old ones better than the new ones. They're not as long. They're more practical sets. They're fun. They don't take themselves quite as seriously as some of the newer ones do. This is how I like my James Bond.
I do have to. We appreciated this a lot last time, but yeah, the practicality of all the sets, and they go big, man. They build every villain layer. I feel like that Bond encounters is more extravagant than the one previous. So,
oh yeah, that final scene in Dr. No, huge set piece.
That one really felt like Austin Powers straight up ripped it off. The way things are labeled.
Oh, 100%.
All these villains are OCD and they have to label everything in their layers. So
I don't want people to get confused.
No, that's true. I mean, the turnover rate for these henchmen is so high. You got to have stuff well organized, otherwise, I don't be able to find things. Okay, in the James Bond Movie Madness tournament, before we can get to the semifinals, there is one last matchup which stemmed from a play-in game, which is now competing to face off against The Spy Who Loved Me in the semifinals, and that is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the lone George Lazenby James Bond movie, competing against Sean Connery in Diamonds Are Forever. One of these will go on to face The Spy Who Loved Me in the semifinals. Cycly, we'll go to you first. You and I are Lazenby apologists, but I know that you, especially getting your Bond affinity from your dad, are a big Connery head as well. So where do you go in this matchup?
This is a very interesting matchup because, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion that are like our Bond heads would be like, both of these movies represent drastic difference in theme for the James Bond movies. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is a much more serious tone, much more like in the crime drama side, and then Diamonds Are Forever is way more campy than the previous Sean Connery movies we have gotten. So the fact that these movies are 2 years apart and really at a crossroads of what James Bond was going to be. And I'm going to say this because you've heard me say this on the pod before as someone who doesn't love the Roger Moore James Bond movies. Not saying that like they were all bad. They're not necessarily. The campiness of Diamonds Are Forever kind of won out here, right? Like I think we get a lot of camp out of the Roger Moore, the Roger Moore James Bond movies. The On Her Majesty's Secret Service might have been one of those a little ahead of its time. Maybe some of the James Bond movies we didn't get until like the Daniel Craig era, And so at that time, I think most people would have said, "Oh, Diamonds Are Forever is better." I actually look at it as this is one of the movies that Sean Connery himself just kind of like stopped caring as much, and he very much was just like, I'm going through the motions. I've been this character for so long. I'm bored. Where Lazenby, like, he theoretically should have had more than one shot, but he made himself like known. And I always feel like if On Her Majesty's Secret Service had been more well received, we might have gotten a lot of different Bond movies in the 70s and 80s. So I'm going to say On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I think at that era, no one would have agreed with us, but I think in our setting now, we look back and that is very much the better Bond movie.
Yeah, I this is like it's become more and more interesting to me as we've done this tournament, but the zeitgeist at the time that On Her Majesty's Secret Service came out, I almost wonder to an extent, like, did the movie have a chance regardless of how good it was? Or were fans just so pissed that Lazenby was replacing Connery that it was like it didn't matter? The thing could have basically been like, there will be blood, and people would have been like, this is dog shit. It's not like James Bond. So I don't know, it's kind of an interesting matchup. Banner, how about you? We got On Her Majesty's Secret Service and then Connery returning in Diamonds Are Forever. So it's a bit of like it's almost like a reconstruction after the Civil War. It's like, oh, we're getting back together. This is good.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Cycly was saying here. I think On Your Majesty's Secret Service just inherently is a better movie. If you just look at it as movie versus movie, Diamonds Are Forever is fun. Don't get me wrong. And I personally, Sean Connery is my James Bond, but that doesn't mean that On Her Majesty's Secret Service isn't a good movie. So I'm going with On Her Majesty's Secret Service. That's my final vote.
I love that it is moving on, that we're Majesty's Secret Service fans. I am going to give it my vote as well. I will elaborate more in the next round as it advances, but I think it is safe to say that we do not have the, I guess, crutch of having to view these movies at the time that they come out. So we can be pretty objective with them. And yeah, Diamonds Are Forever has some camp, although it, like Cycly was saying, the Roger Moore ones, I feel like, not that they're better movies, but they more fully embrace the camp. And the Sean Connery one, it almost felt like fighting the centripetal force of a roller coaster. It's like, he's not really that Bond. Like, why are we kind of trying to do that with him? Either the franchise was forced to change that way, or it was almost like he was performing his performance as Bond here was like a little bit self-loathing, and it comes across as a bit awkward. Also, I just think Blofeld is a really stupid fucking villain. He bothers me a lot. So on Her Majesty's Secret Service will advance to face the spy who loved me in the semifinals. All right, we have 3 matchups left, and the winners of each of these will face off in the championship in a threesome. So let's begin. We'll go to the bottom here. We have Dr. No and From Russia with Love. This is going to be interesting. Banner, we will go to you first. We have Dr. No, the very first Bond movie, and shortly thereafter, actually, is it the next one, From Russia with Love? I think it is, right? Yeah,
I think
63.
you're right, yeah.
Yeah, so we got the 2 Connerys back-to-back to open up the Bond franchise. I mean, a lot of people thought this was going to be the championship matchup, but the way that the bracket's set up, this is where we're at. Who do you give the nod to between these 2 movies?
This is a tough one because, like you said, this could easily be your championship round here. Dr. No, huge set pieces, just balls to the walls, Michael Bay style, right? And then From Russia with Love is much more intimate and isn't as huge, if you will. So 2 great movies in and of themselves, but taking very different directions as far as Bond movies go. I will say of this round of first 13 Bond movies, From Russia with Love is my favorite one out of all of them. So it's got to get my vote.
All right, From
I
Russia.
wish it wasn't going up against Dr. No, though.
No,
that's just bad seeding, bad luck.
I mean, how much do we talk about in the NCAA tournament? It's just about matchups. If you face off against a team that you just do not, your personnel does not work well against, it's a problem. It's a problem. From Russia with Love is like high point. Cycly, we'll go to you. This is, again, a tough one. Dr. No, we got the OG, started the whole franchise. And then, of course, From Russia with Love, the intricate love, actually made me believe that Bond could love a woman, although that woman was like a 12, so it kind of makes sense.
At least she wasn't 12. That would have been worse.
Thank God.
This is one of those matchups like you wish were immediately on the opposite sides of the bracket. Like these should not be meeting in the second round, but that's not how this works. And sometimes 2 championship contenders meet very early. It's really hard, right? Like Banner made a great point. Like these 2 films, like there is no James Bond without Dr. No. Like Dr. No is one of the few like films that have franchises that come after it, that where you look back and you're like, the tone was absolutely set in the first movie. While was Bond fully established? Not necessarily, but he was who he was supposed to be in Dr. No. Like he was that, like the swag, mysterious, like dangerous, cunning, just absolutely the guy you want to be. And I think that we get the Bond, James Bond, and Shaken Not Stirred, I think, very much in this movie. Like the Dr. No it's insane what it did, right? Like you mentioned Austin Powers. It's not that Austin Powers was always obviously like satirizing like James Bond. Like, I mean, so much of it was directly taken from Dr. No. So
a lot of it,
you cannot just look at Dr. No and not say like the impact was real. The issue is that who it's going up against is the next one, right? Like From Russia with Love, which is, and Banner said it, is not just the best of the 13. I mean, this is probably in the final 4 of all Bond movies, if not the top 2. And I think the only reason why it sets Russia with Love above it is that Dr. No set the tone, and From Russia with Love built on that foundation. And could they have maybe, as so many sequels do, just shit the bed when they've had a good foundation? No, Russia with Love like took it and ran with it. Amazing Bond girl, amazing story. Spectre is more just we learn more about Spectre. We learn more about this like evil organization. It's more developed. Just From Russia with Love is literally like the pinnacle of great James Bond movies. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to From Russia with Love. This debate doesn't deserve to be decided within the first 2. It should have gone to a best of 3 here. It should be in the championship, but we are where we're at, and so yeah, From Russia with Love.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough, but it's gonna get the sweep because I got to go with From Russia with Love too. The story here, the Doctor No story is great, and I mentioned in the round one matchup that it had against Live and Let Die that I loved how Doctor No he becomes so ominous because we don't see him very much. It's almost like Darth Vader, right? Like he's scary and he's omnipresent and you feel him, but because he's not, it's like Cloverfield as well, because he's not like always being seen, he feels even more threatening. And I thought that was so well executed. And all the stuff with the professor and the cat and mouse and Bond following him to the island was great. But in From Russia with Love, it is one of the rare times, especially in the early Bond films, because they try a lot to give him like a central love interest in all the movies. I know he is a womanizer, but they really do a pretty good job of him like locking into one chick for at least like 2/3 of these movies. This one, I actually really, really bought the romance that he had with Tatiana. And all the stuff on the train in the third act, like with Spectre and that Agent Red, who he has like the fight with in the compartment, and like the weird dinner where they do the classic Bond thing where it's like both of them are fucking with each other so much and they know it, but they put on this facade that like neither of them do. It just all works so well. And even when the movie slows down, it's so great. And to Banner's point, this one has some ballsy and probably really expensive practical scenes, like that scene with the helicopter on the like hillside. Which also, if you're in a helicopter, like the method of attack for going after a guy on the ground, like trying to fly at him, like just fucking shoot him, dude. But that was a really, really cool scene. It's something that I'm sure, like in like when the movie came out in 1963, people were like, how the fuck did they do this? So I think this is a tough matchup. Could easily be the championship, like we both said. But I'm going to give my vote in a clean sweep to From Russia with Love, who will move on to the threesome championship. All right, next matchup. We have different levels of ridiculousness here. We have Goldfinger against Moonraker. Cycly, we will let you go first. The two one-word Bond titles in the tournament up against each other.
I mean, I'm going to make this clear and concise and short. This isn't even a debate, in my opinion. I mean, it's Goldfinger all day. Moonraker is, we were talking about the camp of Diamonds Are Forever and what it led into the Roger Moores. Is Moonraker a fun film? Sure. But it's like, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like Too Fast, Too Furious, or Fast and Furious going to space. It's too much, guys. And, space lasers, space station, Star Wars, they're trying to take advantage of what's hip in the 80s. It's too campy, and it just takes away from the seriousness of James Bond. Goldfinger is. I'm not saying it's the best James Bond movie, Sean Connery movie. We just talked about Dr. No. We just talked about From Russia with Love. But Goldfinger is literally also like fundamentally the blueprint for future spy films of how this goes. So whether or not we've had the debate, I think we've mentioned it, like how we all feel about the Goldfinger villain, right? Like he's either like an idiot, a bumbling idiot, or just like a genius.
He's whatever the plot needs him to be at that.
Yeah, but I do feel like Goldfinger at the end of the day is the defining moment of James Bond, right? It's not the best Bond movie, but it's probably the most action-packed. It has a great ending that
last set piece is insane.
Yeah, and with real vulnerability, with real issue. If like James Bond, like Dr. No, it's like if Sean Connery or James Bond doesn't succeed, it's not the end of the world, right?
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Goldfinger is the first time we get a spy thriller where it's like, this is going to fuck up the entire world.
Yeah.
If James Bond doesn't do what he needs to do. So not taking anything away from Moonraker, but it is peak Roger Moore, and is it fun? Yeah. But like the fact that it made it as far as like Dr. No and From Russia with Love is like a joke to me. So I'm going to go with Goldfinger, but I'm the Bond head. So love to hear what you guys think.
Nice. All right, Banner, Goldfinger or the space epic Moonraker?
I think this is one where you kind of, as we're judging these and thinking about these, you think about our categories, and impact really comes to mind on this because Cycly hit the nail on the head there. Goldfinger is the blueprint for
I agree. And like Cycly said, we probably weren't desensitized yet to the end of the world stakes in a movie in 1964. So I can imagine audiences watching it and like really feeling the gravitas of Goldfinger's plan. Like Cycly said, this isn't just him threatening MI6 or like to cut off James Bond's dick. He's actually actively going to destroy the world. And this was one of the first times in the Bond franchise where we get to see the villain do one of my favorite things, where he just completely throws caution to the wind and will kill any henchman in the most elaborate way who even slightly disagrees with any of his plans or suggestions. Like him poisoning all those guys in the room. And like half of them are like, I didn't even do anything, man. Like, I'm still working for you. I don't get it.
I also thought you were about to say the first time we see like where a villain tells like Bond the entire plan. Like that's every spy movie after this is like
which Austin Powers
tell him all of this.
Nailed.
I have a gun in my room.
I'll go get it, Scott. You just don't get it, do you? You just don't. And it's like the classic. The villain always prefaces it with, "You're not going to be around very long anyway, so I might as well tell you my plan." And you're like, why though? Like, what do you gain from it? And like you said, Goldfinger, on a rewatch of this, I know we do kind of laugh and joke about like how bumbling of an idiot he is at certain times, but it really is only that pool scene in the beginning. And then after that, he kind of locks it up. And I don't know if he was like playing possum in that scene with James Bond, or if, I don't know, the guy just gets nervous around people in scantily clad bikinis and man thongs. Like, who hasn't been there? We lose our composure a little bit poolside. I'm sorry. God. So I am going to go with Goldfinger, suffice it to say. And like, I hate to make it anticlimactic so far, but I mean, we got to vote the way that we feel. We got 3 straight clean sweeps so far today in these matchups. So Goldfinger will move on into the 3-way threesome championship, joining From Russia with Love. Our last matchup, which was set up with that play-in matchup that we had to start the show, is the George Lazenby On Her Majesty's Secret Service and the Roger Moore, The Spy Who Loved Me. I'll go first on this one. I don't dislike Roger Moore as James Bond. He is, as Cycly has said, a different version of James Bond who, for better or worse, probably worse, as his movies go on, they write the character, I think, more to Roger Moore's strengths, which is an overabundance of like levity that Bond, like he is making puns and quips at really inappropriate times, if we're being honest. In the Austin Powers realm of like a guy's head gets like sawed off and then he'll make a joke about it. And in The Spy Who Loved Me, I think my biggest issue with this is the film. So this film features Jaws, which I like because Jaws is awesome, but he's not really in this movie that much. But it's just like the second time that we've done the submarine thing and the underwater thing, and it's just, it doesn't really work as well for me. And of the 3, I've only seen the 3 Roger Moore films that were in this, Live and Let Die, Moonraker, and this one, and this is definitely my least favorite of all of them. So the bumbling idiot chick at the end who like he gives her like the fucking tape to hide, and she like sticks it in her swimsuit and they recognize it. It's all just like really stupid. So I can't in good conscience vote for The Spy Who Loved Me. Plus I'm the Lazenby head, so I got to go with On Her Majesty's Secret Service to advance to the finals. Banner, what do you think?
I will go ahead and say The Spy Who Loved Me. I'll make this not a clean sweep. While I do love On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I mean, I don't know. This is just coming from the gut. It's telling me that The Spy Who Loved Me is a better movie to me.
I will say I like the opening in The Spy Who Loved Me where James Bond kills those guys on the skis, where like he's like skiing backwards and fucking shooting at them, but then you're also like laughing at the same time. And is it designed to be a comedy? Cycling, maybe you know better than me, but sometimes it feels like it, and then other times it will take itself, like the way Jaws kills that dude in the pyramids, like that's pretty fucking dark and heavy.
I think again that the thing about The Spy Who Loved Me is it's stretched into two directions, and the problem is like where Roger Moore ends up going as Bond and the seriousness. Like it feels so campy at some parts, but it's so serious at the others. Like it really was like a what do we want to be? And that's why, in my opinion, I don't know if we're moving on to my decision, but like my opinion is The Spy Who Loved Me is the best Roger Moore film. Because this was the first Roger Moore film in the sense, or like all the other Roger Moore films are, it is debatable between the camp and the seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's crazy. You got Jaws, the ski jump. You got like all sorts of things going on. It is peak Roger Moore.
I will say the Roger Moore movies, for me, they have high highs and low lows.
Yeah.
Like when they're fun, they're really fun. And then there's other times you're like, what in the fuck is this? I think
this was, maybe I'm crazy, but like, is this like maybe like the creators of James Bond or the writers, like this is them trying to be like, we're a blockbuster. Like we're doing crazy things. Like we're not just doing underwater shots like in Thunderball. Like it just felt over exaggerative. And again, like it was for Roger Moore, I would die on this hill that it's probably his best movie. But on Her Majesty's Secret Service, what we've said repeatedly on this pod now, nothing is at a better glow up. It's like Brussels sprouts, guys. When we were kids, none of us ate Brussels sprouts, but now, fuck, we love Brussels sprouts. What a glow up, dude! We love them. Like that is on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Like 100%. I don't think we would have given this.
I'm talking myself into it more and more. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, and this movie is so, again, it's like the Daniel Craig movies just 30 years before, right? Like, so he deserves so much more. I think maybe there's a lot of this that impacts us where I'm just like, I feel bad for him. And I'm like, this is making, he's always said, if Bro Force Squad says this, it will make me feel better. So
right.
Maybe this is us reaching out to him, but I not hating on Roger Moore, like this is his best movie, but like I'm still gonna go with On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
So that'll advance On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And to be self-referential, to say this is the best Roger Moore Bond film is like saying you're the smartest person on the Bro Force Squad. It's like, is that really even a compliment? Like, how hard is the list to top?
I don't know if I want to be the smartest person in the Bro Force Squad.
Well, you are.
Too self-aware.
Spoiler alert, you are.
Yeah.
That's true.
Unfortunate for you.
Only the smartest person would say that. Because you don't want to be known for that.
But only you would be aware enough to know that only the
that's Banner
would say that.
Well, now I'm just thoroughly confused.
Exactly.
Because you're not the smartest, neither am I. All right, that moves us to our three-way final, a threesome, Devil's three-way. Maybe not. No eye contact here. This has never happened in the history of our Movie Madness tournaments. The way the numbers worked out, it had to happen this way mathematically. But I think it's going to be interesting, and I'm glad that it did. So the three movies competing against each other will be On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which we just gave the victory to. Lazenby will be competing against two Sean Connery movies in Goldfinger and From Russia with Love, who both advanced to the finals. All right, here's how this will work. Of these three movies, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Goldfinger, and From Russia with Love, we will each pick our favorite. And if we end up with a tie here, meaning all three of us are split, we will go to the internet, and IMDb's ratings as the ultimate decider. So the rest of the world will basically pick who wins in the tiebreaker. Banner, we'll go to you first. On Her Majesty's Secret Service with Lazenby, Goldfinger with the bumbling idiot who then figures it out and has an incredible plan to steal the world's gold reserve, or From Russia with Love, which has possibly the best love story in a Bond movie, although I would say Casino Royale's up there as well. Who do you give the nod to here?
So this is a great finals, all three of these, because you've got, again, From Russia with Love, a little bit of a different kind of story than the other Bonds. Like you said, great love story. A little bit more of an intimate setting. Then you have Goldfinger, which is just the blueprint for spy movies to come. And then On Her Majesty's Secret Service was a kind of an oddity, especially when it came out, right? With him, that being the only Bond movie that he ever made. So kind of three different realms here. And I'm going to have to go with From Russia with Love. It is my favorite. It might be my favorite Bond movie ever, actually. I mean, It's definitely up there. I'm really going to have to sit down and have a serious conversation with myself speaking about the other one, the newer ones. But it is just a fantastic movie where, again, I appreciate what the other two do. Close second, close third, but From Russia with Love's got to get the nod.
All right. It's got one vote. Worst it can do now is go into a tiebreaker. Cycling. Do you give it to From Russia with Love to seal it, or do you give it to Goldfinger or On Her Majesty's Secret Service?
I wanted this to go deeper because this is a great matchup between the three. And if you take in the first 13, right, like this is the top three.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service was in the play-in game. I mean, it is Cinderella here.
The only one that I feel like genuinely like should be here is Dr. No, right? Like, or like that there's a top 4 in my opinion if this 13.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the championship was in its last matchup against From Russia with Love, basically.
I would take the top 4. It's going to be interesting when you do the latter 13, right? Like, I think it's going to be some of the Timothy Dalton ones are pretty good. We all grew up with Brosnan. Like Craig is some like this is going to be interesting. I would love to see where this goes, but
the new ones get so damn long though. They're like 3 fucking hours,
and I get confused because I'm stupid.
I also think there's only one Brosnan one that's gonna like make it past a certain round.
He's our childhood Bond, and we have an affinity for him. But objectively, he's
Timothy Dalton is like Lazenby to me. Like he only was there for 3. Like he actually did great.
I love Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, so I'm just getting ahead of myself right now because I'm like picturing this world. But going back, I'm going to give credit to On Her Majesty's Secret Service because it did something that was not going to be popular with a Bond actor that was not going to be popular. And it was a tough place to be, and I feel bad for Lazenby. And it's not the best one, though. It's just not. And I respect the hell out of it for doing what it did. It was ahead of its time, and I'm thankful that it's gotten appreciated. If you go to like the James Bond Reddit, like people have given it the attention it deserves. My dad, who I've talked about, is the biggest Sean Connery head. I grew up with him defending this movie. So like, like it wasn't just like our generation.
And that would seem to be the camp of people who would hate it the most, are the big Connery heads.
Because he hates Roger Moore. Like, no, he doesn't hate anyone on earth more than Roger Moore. So the problem is here is like, okay, and then Goldfinger and From Russia with Love. I think From Russia with Love is from top to bottom a better movie. It has the charisma. It has the vengeance that Spectre is coming for Bond. It might not have the gravity that Goldfinger does, but Goldfinger takes too long to get to that depth. And that's why From Russia with Love, between the quintessential Bond girl, the drama, the set pieces going from Istanbul, going to the train, different, like just everything that comes with From Russia with Love. That is, I'm not going to declare it as my favorite Bond movie. There is a couple more left on the other side of the bracket that I'm very interested to see how this plays out. But From Russia with Love squeaks this out over very deserving movies like Goldfinger and On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
All right, well, that will officially make it the champion, but I'm going to go ahead. So to cover the spread, I'll give my vote here. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, like you said, incredible run. And this was a moment that will go down in their program's history. I also just love, it does borderline on camp, but it's so creative and effective. The whole like last 20 minutes of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, where it's basically James Bond killing people in every Winter Olympic sport you can come up with. He goes through bobsled and luge, and obviously he does the shotgun one where you're like skiing and on the like hill. So it gets really creative there, and it's really fun. And Bond in this one, I'm pretty sure bangs more women than in any other James Bond movie. He fucks that entire ski lodge of women doing the hypnotherapy, which is like 9 chicks. So got to give him a little bit of credit for that. Goldfinger, as we've talked about before, does have gravitas, but in a different way than From Russia with Love. It has the end of the world stakes, which were very, I think, inventive at the time. People hadn't seen it as much. But From Russia with Love, all the emotional stuff does really work. And I could see classic Bond fans being like, dude, he doesn't fall in love with the chick. Like, that's what he does. He's James Bond. You know, he's able to compartmentalize his emotions with what he has to do for country. But it all just works in this movie. And it's, I mean, Tatiana as a character, like her struggle too with knowing that she has to basically go against her mission because she's falling in love with Bond. And like Cycly said, the whole Spectre cat and mouse works really well. So I just think in terms of lack of flaws and just being a really emotionally driven James Bond movie, but not in a melodramatic way or in a way that you're like, dude, we get it. I'm not here for a fucking romance. It still works. So From Russia with Love gets my vote. And in a championship matchup like this, I think for it to get a sweep is pretty impressive. Although, like Cycly said, Dr. No is probably the 3rd best movie in this bracket, but that's, I think, part of the fun of making this is that you just get matchups that are sometimes more entertaining than just saying what are the top 3.
Every year we've had a matchup that we're like, man, this is way too early, and this movie, like, what was the year we did? Was it early odds comedies? And
yeah, I think it was last year.
Yep,
that
was
year?
exactly
and 40-Year-Old Virgin just got a bad matchup early on, and it should have been way deeper in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. 40-Year-Old Virgin fired their coach after that, if I remember right.
I mean, probably deserved it.
Probably did. All right, guys, last thoughts. From Russia with Love wins. It is the champion, and at least of the first 13 Bond movies. And it will compete against the champion of the last 13 Bond movies. So it's just going to sit there and wait and watch film and study. So, Banner, how do you think about the way this one played out?
I think we got it right. I mean, From Russia with Love is if it isn't my favorite, it is one of my favorite Bond movies. It's just, it just gave another layer to James Bond that you don't see very often.
Yeah, I agree.
Which was, I would say it's refreshing, but it was obviously the second one in the franchise. But I guess for me, it wasn't the second one that I had ever seen. That makes sense.
Yeah, as a kid, you just kind of watch them out of order, I feel like.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Cycly, whose dad's like, no, you have to do it this way. We're not animals. Cycly, you kind of mentioned, I feel like after this thing beat Dr. No, the only thing it had to do was just not take its opponents for granted because that was its toughest competition. But do you feel like we got it correct here with From Russia with Love coming out on top?
I think we have it absolutely correct. I think the only people who would differ would be the people who are like purists in the sense of like there's an argument to be made for Goldfinger because of like what it did for spy movies and the impact overall. But like I would make the same argument then if you want to argue for Goldfinger impacting spy movies, then you have to give Dr. No the vote then, right? Like, because we don't have any of this without Dr. No. So yeah, I think overall From Russia with Love is also like the more beautiful film, right? Like it's more, there's more cinematography involved in it. It doesn't repeat itself too much. I think we made a great call. I'm going to make a prediction. I think it's going to be From Russia with Love versus Casino Royale. I might be wrong, but that's going to be, that's my prediction. If that's the matchup, that is going to be a tough, because they are very different movies. So we'll see what happens on the other side of this.
Man, guys, I'm gonna rewatch all the other 13, but the nostalgia boner that I have for GoldenEye, and I know it sucks in a lot of ways, but it is gonna be really hard for me to fight that.
It's gonna make the final four of that bracket.
If you take into consideration our Pro 4 Squad criteria, impact is a huge category.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Yeah, GoldenEye has that locked up against any of these other 25 movies.
Now, the way we seeded, we can discuss off pod, but the way we seeded this one at the selection show episode, if you go back 2 episodes and listen to that, was we just randomly drew the names out of a hat to avoid any biases. Also, I think we wanted, because if we just did them in order, it would be a lot of the same actors competing against themselves, which is always kind of difficult to judge, at least if you do it too frequently. So we'll have to figure out if we want to randomly do it for the next half of the tournament, as like we did for this one, because I would also hate for, like, for our purposes, like GoldenEye and Casino Royale, the matchup in the first round. I don't think the fans or TV want that to happen.
That's probably the toughest. I mean, I don't know, some of the Daniel Craigs, but damn, if those go head to head immediately, it's like this is
the
ridiculous.
Only Daniel Craig that I don't think is like at least an 8 out of 10 is Quantum of Solace, and that one had a ton of production issues as well. So
yeah, I'll save my comments for later because there's a lot I want to say there.
Yeah. All right. Nice little tease for the second half. We'll probably do it around the time of the World Cup, since that is a familiar sporting event bracket that we can easily capitalize on the momentum.
Never heard of it.
It's this. I'll tell you about it afterwards. I know all the information about that sport, so I can explain it really well to you. All right, moving on to our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what's in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. I got like 2, maybe 3 things. Not sure how much I'll talk about. Banner, we'll let you go first. Since we last spoke to you, what's been in your cup? What have you seen?
I watched the first season of Daredevil Born Again, finally. Fan-fucking-tastic.
So good, right?
Oh my God. I am mad at myself for waiting this long. Chomping at the bit to get going on the second season.
It's like so relevant now that it like makes you a little bit uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. I'm like, is this a documentary?
Yeah, I know.
But just so well done. I think that I was a little afraid with it moving to Disney Plus away from the Netflix ones. Obviously, they're related, connected, whatever. We don't have to get into that, but they didn't shy away from what it was. And I really appreciate that. I was afraid that, because once we saw Kingpin in Hawkeye, I was like, okay, are we gonna? How is this gonna work?
Yeah, and then in Echo, he's not muted a little bit, but Echo obviously has a very strong love for, so he's going to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, and so I was afraid that they were going to make him soft, and they did not.
No, and season 2, he is less soft.
Yes, I am, like I said, chomping at the bit to get going on that.
Yeah, I'm 1 episode behind on season 2, but it just continues to up the stakes and the fun, and yeah, it's as visceral and intense as the Netflix series was, while connecting to the MCU, which is cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. We'll have to talk on pod after season 2 concludes. I'm not sure how many episodes it is, but I think they're dropping at least 1 a week, possibly 2 at times. So maybe in like a month it'll be over or something like that. Cycly, what have you seen lately?
I'll quickly mention 2 true crime docs. Friends Like These, which is on Hulu right now.
Man.
Did you watch that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then The Truth and Tragedy of Mariah Wilson on Netflix. Okay, Banner. So you know why I watched Friends Like These?
Why?
The screen cap on Hulu looked like Robin Sparkles, my wife, when she was that age. And we're scrolling, and I'm like, what do we want to watch? And I go, oh my God, we both like looked at it. I was like, that kind of looks like you when you were a teenager. And she was like, holy shit, that does.
I could totally see that.
Yeah. If you go look at the screen cap, like the thumbnail of that documentary, and you're like, oh, that's definitely 13-year-old Robin Sparkles. And so we were like, oh, let's watch this. I'm going to say this. You both have children, and I have a child on the way. This was not the best thing to watch. Like, about bringing
it just makes you want to never let them associate with other.
Yeah, and especially not as a teenager. I don't know if this is worth like. Banner, what's your opinion? Like, should we just spoil this? Like, I don't know. It's a true story, so it's not like
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, I think it happened in like 2012 or something.
Yeah, so like this
Is it a
basically the
one-part
documentary,
movie or is it like a
it's
documentary?
3 episodes.
Three
3
episodes.
episodes of like 1
They're
hour
like-
each.
Yeah, they're like 45 minutes maybe.
Yeah. And what's interesting about it is one, it's like what 2 or 3 years after our generation, right? Like so like when we are finally in college, these people are in high school. So like the interesting thing about this documentary is like social media is very much a thing, but still unknown. Like no one's really processing what Facebook and Twitter really are, but they're very much a part of teenage life, right? Like now everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah, this
But
was like the first iteration of like you have to have two
Yeah.
social lives, your online one and then your
Yeah.
in-person
And
one.
and now we know anything we put online is forever and anyone can see it. But back then, like we all had Zangas, right? Like that was our personal diary and we knew people saw it, but like we still put things we probably shouldn't have on that shit, right? Like
dumb. Some of the stuff.
and watching this documentary, and Banner, I'd love to hear what you thought, you especially as someone who has a daughter, like it is like stop putting these emotions on, like you're like begging them to stop. And it, without getting into the seriousness of the documentary yet, like it made me start thinking like, how am I going to raise this child that I'm bringing in this world? Because I'm like, you can't take it away from them, right? Like, because then they're going to rebel, they're going to sneak it in, like they're going to find ways, as we all did as kids, right? Like, but you have to like find this like medium of understanding of how the internet works, and then the tragedy it takes onto like people who are supposed to be your friends, the seriousness. Like when we're teenagers, we take life so seriously, we didn't realize how not real our emotions really were. You know, we look back now and we laugh, but at the moment it felt sincere and it felt authentic and cruel. And unfortunately, in this documentary, it like took someone's life for no reason at all, which is the scariest thing. So it's literally at the point of like where I looked at my wife and I was like, hey, it looks like you and your 2 friends from high school. And that's it. That's it. And how much of a difference your friendships make. It could have been any one of us. It just takes one fucked up person to go through something. Banner, I'd love to hear what you thought.
Yeah, it was obviously it hits home with anybody that has kids and is trying to raise them. And then again, the more you think about once they get older and they start going and hanging out on their own, like I mean, we all did it. We all went out and hung out, and our parents maybe didn't necessarily know exactly where we were at or what we were doing. And yeah, that's terrifying. They glossed over a couple of things that I thought was just fucking wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to spoil it, they didn't. If you don't know what's happening and you want to go skip ahead 35 seconds, it is, they just like glossed over the fact that they didn't just kill this poor girl.
Yeah.
They stabbed her 56 times.
Insanity. Absolute cruel, like evil.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like she's probably dead for 45 of those.
100%. And yeah, like I said, this isn't, they just like glossed over that fact. I think
for no motivation, not like no reason.
No reason.
Because they're fucking idiot teenagers.
And again, I think you brought up a good point. That was a different time. I mean, we had social media, but we weren't. This generation was the generation that really taught the world what social media really was. We, in our generation, invented it. Their generation showed us how evil it can be and how detrimental it can be. I think the more stories like this come out, the more hopefully people will learn about the foreverness of the internet, and anybody can find anything, and you know how you have to be careful in that sense.
The sadness is like the cruelty of what happened, you know, gets overshadowed by these 2 girls or women now, who one of them who's going to get out of prison very soon, and
because they obviously weren't tried as adults.
One of them wasn't. Well, one of pled guilty.
One
and the
pled
other
guilty.
One, yeah. And she's because we're approaching 15 years, I think, and so she's going to be getting out soon. And seeing the parents, it's just like everything feels so. I don't know. As a teenager, it's just like you don't think about the reality and the context and like the pain of the parents. Seeing the dad like suffer for it's just like there's something blocking like the teenage mind, right? Like to understand and process that. And it's like that was the scariest thing to me watching this. Is like you can tell someone over and over and over, like, hey, this is a friend, this is a human, this is whatever. And it's just like something in the developmental brain that's horrifying. And it just like I was just sitting there like, this could be anybody on a bad day as a teenager. And it fucked with me. And I was like, I watched this because it looked like my wife and her friends, and I made a joke about it. So, yeah, I didn't sit well after this one. Now, I just kept watching those parents, and it just broke me.
That's tough. Feels like one that you definitely need a palate cleanser afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Of some sort.
And my palate cleanser was the other documentary I just mentioned. Not joking, it was completely different timing. The Truth and Tragedy of Mariah Wilson, which is a true doc on Netflix. Basically, this is just a one watch. I think it's like an hour and a half. She is a bicyclist. Like she had a chance at the Olympics in a different sport. I think it was like either skiing. She hurt herself, and then so she took up biking on her own and made like a living around it. She would go around to different competitions around the country and meet people. And she met this guy who it seems like while they may have flirted, like just had some very much of a professional, normal relationship and talked and communicated. And then all of a sudden she visits him and she ends up dead. And so it's like, well, the police, I mean, like her best friend is like, well, she was with him last night. So police corner him and start asking him questions. And he's like, clearly like, what the fuck? Like I dropped her off. Like there's a video of him leaving. He's like, we've never even kissed, blah, 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 blah. His girlfriend becomes a suspect. And kind of chaos ensues. It's, again, this one just came out.
Is there a resolution to it?
Yes.
To the story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil this one because it literally came out on Netflix this week. I think it's number one on Netflix right now. It's an easy watch comparably because it's an hour and a half. But yeah, one of those, again, like none of this had to happen. This person didn't need to die no matter what. Like it was just like, why? Like what did this accomplish for anyone? So yeah, it's fine. It's not the best document, true doc, crime doc I've ever watched, but definitely scratch that itch if you're bored, and will keep you entertained for an hour and a half. And sadly, these are real people's lives that we're using for entertainment, but that's a different debate for a different day.
When did this take place? You might have mentioned it.
I think like 5 years ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never heard this story, so
I hadn't either. Just like Netflix recommended. I was like, oh, why not? I got nothing else going on.
Netflix is like, you're a sick fuck and watch other things like this.
Yeah,
yes, I do. Netflix. Yeah, all we've talked about in Protein Shake is fucking Daredevil, Born Again, and then 2 really sad documentaries. Anyone have anything happy?
Lawrence, you got something happy?
No.
Sure. Scream 7. I watched
Yay!
This is as happy as it's gonna get. Cycling and I texted a lot about this. He saw it before I did. Did you see it?
Yeah, he sent me a little texty text. Yeah, I did.
I'm in my cheerleading outfit. So Cycling and I, just for context, we are massive fans of the Scream franchise. And I don't think this is, if you actually break it down, I don't think this is that crazy of a statement. But Scream as a franchise is, and it's not even close, the best horror movie franchise. And when I say that, I mean
it's not close.
It's not close at all, because even Scream's worst movie is still pretty damn good. In my opinion,
said that on the pod a few times. I feel like we have stuck our sticking around for that.
Look at like Friday the 13th, or even the Saw movies, which Cycling and I love to death. Check out all of our movie commentaries on those. There are some fucking turds in the bunch. The Scream movies, again, even the worst one is still very, very competently made, and you got to give Scream credit. They always try to do something inventive or creative with the genre. Scream 7 still does that, and I won't spoil anything because I think the whole fun of a Scream movie is going in and not knowing where it's going to end up. But I think Cycling and I both agreed, and I'll let you speak for yourself here, but the movie has a lot of interesting ideas. It has a lot of ways that it deals with like relevant modern horror and sort of like things that we see in culture now that make horror movies that horror movies like have to consider or that they can have an opinion on. I don't even want to say what I don't like about it because I feel like even without
you can say like fast forward a minute, like without still won't reveal, but you don't have to give too much.
Yeah, I won't reveal anything, but skip forward, like hit the 30-second forward button twice if you don't want really anything about Scream 7 spoiled for you. But Scream movies are often, because they're slasher, sort of whodunit movies, very dependent on the way that they reveal the ghost face killer or killers and their motivations. And I think the one here, it's the weakest by far of any Scream movie, and it really just kind of it almost feels like the point of the movie is not in why everything is happening. It's kind of how everything is happening and making that relevant in modern times, which I think worked really well. But then it's a Scream movie. Like the end, when you tell us who Ghostface is, that's like kind of why we're watching the movie. And this was by far the weakest, I guess, culmination of that, and just felt really unscream-like almost in the way that it was presented. What did you think?
It seemed like I didn't hate this movie by any means. Completely agree with everything you said about Scream. Like, I love this franchise, and it's just top to bottom the best. But it was almost laughable in the reveal. Like, people, like, I went with a group of friends, and we're all like, "What the hell? Like, what are they doing?" It seemed like they wanted to be made fun of.
You were just like waiting for something else to happen, almost, right?
Well, some of the shots. I'm going to say this again. Fast forward another 30 seconds if you just turn this back on. But like some of the shots with like not Courtney Cox. I'm sorry. Nev Campbell. Like, I was like, it was almost like gimmicky, and I'm like, are you doing this on purpose? Like, like what's happening? I have my personal opinion. I think I've said this to you with the politics and the bullshit that happened with Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, which shouldn't have ever happened, but we're not here to debate that. I think the Scream franchise shuffled as quickly as they could and developed the script as they could because they had to scrap everything that was planned for the trilogy of Scream 5, 6, and 7. And then they were just dealt the situation. While, in my opinion, like, hey, just wait a year and flesh this out. They were like, no, we said, we said spring, winter 2026. So we got to put it out there. And it was clearly obvious this was rushed. I said this on our 2026 movie preview. We were due for a bad Scream movie. It's been 7 of them. Like, it's not the end of the world that they had a bad one. Here's the thing, though. This dominated the box office. I don't know if you saw that. Like, it did great in the box office. So we're getting a Scream 8. Like, 100%. So my hope is that, like, hey, we had an L. Let's take it and let's recover and Scream 8. And I feel confident in that. But man, the reveal just destroyed this movie. Like, I still enjoyed the film, loved the opening. It was entertaining up till the last 20% of the movie.
Yeah. Just as a pod, Cycling, I liked enough of the movie despite the ending to still give it, and it's, April, so it's probably not going to last, but I gave it currently a Oscar nom for Best Horror Movie, but I also considered giving it a nom for Worst Movie of the Year, which is kind of funny to think about. But for now, we'll leave it at best. Yeah, we'll leave it at Best Horror Movie, and I doubt it will stay on there by the time we do the Oscars. Yeah, but I'm kind of excited that we're getting a Scream 8. Again, like you said, I liked enough about it. I definitely did not dislike it at all. But for what you've come to expect from Scream, it is probably, for me, my second least favorite. It's close with Scream 3. I got to rewatch Scream 3.
There were better. I still think if you take everything up till the killer reveal, I think there's other options they could have done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's immediately jumps 2 spots. But they did the weakest thing, in my opinion. So again, once you watch it, you'll see. You probably will feel the same way.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got. Banner, you got anything else?
I watched the first 2 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord.
Mm.
Highly recommend it, guys.
I've seen the first one, so I'll be right behind you.
Yeah.
Loved the first one.
I can already tell this is going to be a fantastic, quick series. I think it's only going to last a month. I think we got to get 2 episodes a week between now and May the 4th be with you. So it's going to come at us hard and fast, and I'm excited for it.
God, stupid George Lucas who tried to kill Darth Maul in the Phantom Menace. Like that's one of like 2 cool things you fucking thought of in the prequels, and you got rid of it so fast for us.
I know.
Jar Jar lasts longer than Darth Maul. It's a damn shame.
Well, because he's the true Sith, so I don't understand the point you're trying to make.
Misa mistaken. Sorry. Cycly, anything else?
I'll just quickly mention, I know you're actually just finished the 3rd season of Shrinking tonight. So I won't go too much. I've already made these comments a couple times on the pod, but I enjoyed the season finale much more than I've enjoyed the last few episodes. This is by far the weakest season of Shrinking. But still, at least they ended on a better note. But it's kind of just lost a sense of itself.
Yeah.
And it's just gone a little bit out of, like, it's just taking.
It's just kind of meandering. It's like, is this show actually doing anything, or is it just like existing?
It's lost its sense of identity. It's like, hey, we've expanded all these other characters, and now we care more about them than anyone else.
Oh my gosh, it has become a full-on ensemble cast.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of times that is a strength of a show, but when you have Jason Segel and Harrison Ford, and that's like what you sold me on.
It's supposed to be about them and like
how much Liz is in this thing? Damn, right?
It's everyone else now. Like Jason Segel is an afterthought. And when was the last time you saw him being a therapist?
Yeah, it's few and far between for sure.
I'm not saying I still enjoy it. I still like watching it, but like they've definitely struggled a lot this season. I said this 2 weeks ago in our last episode, watched another episode tonight. Scrubs, on the other hand, with Bill Lawrence, it's just, man, tonight's episode felt again like old Scrubs.
Wow.
Emotional, just pulling at the heartstrings. They have found such a rhythm. We have 1 episode left. They were only doing 9 episodes in the season. This is cool. By far the best. I want more. I think they're going to bring it back, but it's like they have understood the task. They understood what they were supposed to do and accomplish with this. Bringing it back. Like it's by far the best of any remake we've ever seen. In my opinion.
Damn.
They have nailed what Scrubs is.
Wow.
And it's emotional, it's funny, it respects the characters. It genuinely just feels like we're watching the same characters from just 20 years later. Like they are matured, they're different, but they're the same. The world is different, but there's like it's just they respected that and it works. So loving Scrubs right now.
I was worried Bill Lawrence might be spread a little too thin with this and Shrinking, but it seems like that's like his golden goose and he's locked back in.
Yeah, I think it helps having like Zach Braff and like everyone involved in that too have an opinion.
The whole gang back together.
Yeah. It's not just like him saying, oh, like he's doing a really good job. And also now he's torn on like, we're getting Ted Lasso 4 coming up too. So like Bill Lawrence is stretched. So I'm glad that Scrubs at least right now can have its own room to breathe.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out at some point. You said it's 9. Do you know how many episodes are out now? Like, is the season almost over?
Yeah, we have 1 more episode left.
Oh, nice. And are they coming back for another season, or is it gonna be like another?
I think it's been approved. I think I saw that. Yeah.
Cool.
This is on Hulu, right?
It's on Hulu. They've been actually doing every Wednesday. They're putting it on ABC, which is cool. Not that anyone has cable anymore, but they put it on Hulu the next day.
I was gonna say, who is like, I do miss those days where it's like, all right, show's on at 8. Let's all gather around and
yeah, exactly.
Flip it on. Oh, no one has time for that. All right, I'm tapped out. Anything else? That bird brings us to the last part of our show. Do you even lift bra? Which is our question and answer segment where we ask a question that we leave you guys with at home, and we'd love for you to chime in the comments with your response. Tonight's question is the continuing saga. What are the Bros' top 100 movies of all time? And the countdown, as it has been going on, is linked in this description of the episode. It's also on our website at the top of broforsquad.com. Before we get into it, we're each going to do our number 19 movie of all time tonight. So we are inside of the top 20, and shit is getting real. Before we get to that, though, Cycly, as always, can you just give the people a little bit of a taste of what these lists are? Because when you hear top 100 movies, you're like, oh, okay, are they analyzing film? This is a little more personal than us just trying to objectively pick the top 100 best movies of all time.
Yeah, this is your personal top 100, and that can mean anything you want. Does that mean like you want to pick Oscar winners, films that you've seen that have like are truly beautiful pieces of art, or are these movies that you watched that made you laugh, that made you cry, that picked you up when you were down, when you were a child, like impacted you, you watched 100 times? These are your top 100 movies, your way to define this. It's such a fun activity to do, and absolutely recommend anyone to do this because it's so fun to revisit any movie you've thought of. So it's your pure list and no one can criticize it.
Yeah, and this is to the part of the list, I don't want to speak for you guys, but where it's like, it gets really hard because now you're not choosing from like, oh, I like that movie and I love this movie. Like I mean, my number 19 tonight, like Cycle, you'll know this once I say it. We're getting into real shit here. Like these are movies that have massive impacts on my life, my movie fandom, and I think from this point on, I think I pretty much love all these films. So, Banner, we will let you go first. Your number 20 movie of all time was one of, if not the greatest action films ever, John Wick, which joined Jerry Maguire for me at number 20, and Cycly has Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So what is one better than John Wick for you at number 19?
This movie starts off so sad and ends so happy. This is my second favorite Pixar movie, and that's Up.
Oh, yeah.
It hits so hard at the beginning. If you aren't shedding a tear, you're not a human being. And then by the end, the relationship that they have together, that it is a beautiful movie. The adventure that they get to go on, the comedy is spot on. The villain is great. It's a great movie, guys.
I always
the
tell
opening
people,
breaks you.
yeah, I say if you don't at least well up in the opening sequence, like something inside of you is broken. Like that montage, Jesus Christ. Yeah. And kids might not get it. Banner, I don't know, like, have you ever watched this with baby Banner and like at a younger age, did she get the beginning or she's like, oh, Pixar movie, this is fun? And you're like, no, hold up. This is like, we need to be crying right now.
I honestly can't remember. I know we watched it when she was younger, but I can't remember her reaction or if she understood the gravitas of what was happening in that beginning montage.
And then, like you said, it just has this incredible ability to like, okay, but now it's like a Pixar movie with some levity and we're going to have a little bit of fun here. And you're like, Jesus Christ. Okay. I just wasn't ready for that. It's a great one. When you said one of the saddest movies of all time in the opening, I literally just started typing Up onto the spreadsheet. Yeah. I was like, I know what that is.
Yeah, it's again, then the end with Ralph's relationship with the old man. I can't remember his name now off the top of my head, but
Carl something.
Carl, yes, that's it. He by the end, their relationship together and how they really brought the best out in each other, and lived that adventure that he thought he would never get. Yeah, it's a beautiful movie.
I don't know why, but I always am a sucker for, and it's kind of almost like an archetype at this point because it's been done so often, but when it works well, the old like curmudgeon guy with like the young kid who desperately wants his like affection and approval, that's just like a dynamic that I love in movies. Like it works really well for me. And I know that it plays to a lot of cliches, but this is probably the best example of when it's done effectively. All right, I will go next. Like we said, I had Jerry Maguire at number 20. My number 19 movie of all time is so even though we're at number 19, I am going to give this movie 2 hyperbolic compliments. Number 1, and you know me being the horror hound, Banner, this is a big compliment. This is the greatest horror movie ever made.
Wow.
Number 2, it has the greatest twist in a movie I have ever seen. I won't say ever made because I can't. There might be one out there, but the biggest what the fuck, my jaw open as wide as it could possibly get, and I'm gasping in the movie theater when it happened. And that is the 2004 film that started a franchise, Saw. On top of that, let's just do one more hyperbole.
Let's go.
I'm going to say this, and Cycle will agree with me here. And Banner, I know you're a big John Williams guy, and there are some iconic ones, but the Hello Zepp score at the end, top 3 movie score ever.
It is, if you want examples of scenes where the score enhances everything, that is one to go watch.
I get goosebumps when I hear it, and there's a version of it. I think this is the one that plays in the actual movie. Cycle and I have so many on like our workout playlist that now it's kind of hard for me to even remember what the.
I love when it comes on my run. I'm like, oh, let's fucking go.
But it starts with this really elongated, and the way the movie works as they're explaining the twist to the audience, and you're kind of like starting to arch your back in your chair, and you're like, what the fuck? It's like this little like bell that just kind of like slowly starts to reverberate, and then the. It's, oh my god, it's so fucking epic. Cycle and I talk about this with 2 movies. If there are 2 films that I could go back and watch for the first time again, it would be Saw and The Dark Knight. Just because seeing it, like, oh my god, such a memorable theater experience. And I don't think I'm being hyperbolic when I say, for me at least, it was the biggest what the fuck twist in any movie I've ever seen. I was utterly floored and like shocked in the best way possible. So the best horror movie of all time, in my opinion, and the best twist of all time. And somehow it's only 19 on my list. I looked at all the ones before this and I was like, damn, this is why we're getting serious, because that's where it belongs here. But I fucking love this film, and Saw is in my top 20, and I don't take back anything I said about it.
So I had to run out there for a second because I had to pee. But I don't know if you said this, so apologies if you did. You saw this when we were like early on in our friendship. I did not see this with you, and you were like, "Hey, Cycly, like you need to see this film."
Dude, I might have seen it by myself because I can't
did.
remember.
I'm pretty sure you did.
It definitely
And
wasn't like a date or anything.
You came to me and you're like, "Hey," because I had seen the trailer and I was like, "Oh, it just looked like a torture porn film." And you're like, "Oh no, it was absolutely insanity!" Like the twist.
See, this was another, not to sound old, but this was a time like that the internet wouldn't spoil this shit for everybody.
No. Nowadays you go online, you just type the movie and it's fucked. Like it's ruined. Yeah. You said that, I was like, oh really? Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go watch this. This led into you and I watching every Saw movie until
on Halloween,
6. Yeah, like together, like well deep into like the end of college. So I remember you saying that you told me the twist. And a lot of times when you tell someone there's a great twist, it's like kind of ruins it because you're like ready for it.
Yeah.
This film did not. You could tell 100 times there's going to be a twist, and you're never going to get to that point to where it ruins it. That's how epic it is. So I remember you telling me to watch this film. I remember you describing the photography scene.
Oh my god!
I get goosebumps thinking about it.
So
I remember you said, like, I go, is it scary? And you're like, not really, but there's one scene where like he's using a camera and the flash
creative. I've
is
never seen that before. Yeah.
And I remember we were in high school, like we were like what 10th or 11th grade, and you were like, no, that scene. And I was like, I remember watching that and seeing the pig mask in the closet, and like, yeah, Saw is on my top 100 clearly too. I'm just like, it's so. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm glad it's so high on your list. That like I want future people, like anyone who watches the film, like I don't want anyone to know. Like everyone deserves to watch this film once, purely.
Yeah. Cycly, this was number 28 on your list.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll be the only two bros with it. I would be shocked if anyone else has it higher than us.
Well, is not Banner's number 1?
I mean, it's his number 0 because it's like
That's true.
It's so good. It doesn't deserve to be.
It's like the
fair.
Yeah, it's the baseline for his list. All right, Cycly, what is your number 19? One ahead of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Mine is Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth.
Nice.
Not sure if either of you have ever seen this film.
I've seen a lot of clips just in the
Yeah.
culture, but I haven't actually seen it.
It's an interesting film because it's fantasy. It's also historical. Obviously, it's not a full historical film. I think this is my top.
A lot of like allegory, right, to like historical figures and events. Yeah.
I mean, it's very much about it's during the Spanish Civil War, during World War II. This is a Spanish language film. I don't speak a word of Spanish. I have a couple, I think, foreign films in my top 100. And this film, I don't know, maybe if it was in English, it would be even higher. This is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. This is one of the most painful films I've ever seen. It's one of the most emotional films I've ever seen. And the fact that it's in a foreign language, I'm having to read subtitles throughout the entire movie and have still felt every emotion throughout the entire film. That's why I'm like, if it was in English, how much higher would this film be? Because I'm literally being distracted by reading subtitles. The concept of this film and the beauty of this film is in this young girl who is in a miserable situation and uses her imagination, or what you think is her imagination, to kind of just take in her actual environment. And I don't want to give it's an old film, so I don't want to give too it's not like I'm trying to protect for spoilers, but it's one of those films that isn't talked about as much anymore. So anyone listening, I really want you to watch this purely. It's just a lot of action. There's a lot of sci-fi. There's a lot of just imagination, and it's the film ends, and it's one of those movies that ends where you're just like, I can't sit. I have to sit here and process. The credits are rolling, and you're sitting there going I'm in pain from what I just watched.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I always say I love horror films, right? I like any film that makes me feel something. And not saying I need every film to make me feel something. Sometimes it's nice to have a movie that just shuts your brain down. That's great. I love that. But when I know a movie has truly impacted me is when I just sit there. And it could be a comedy, it could be a horror, it could be a drama, it could be whatever. And I just take it in and I think about it all the rest of the day.
Yeah.
This film about this girl who has a mom who's pregnant and trying to survive, who is engaged to a military man on the fascist regime of the Spanish government, and she is taken away from her home. She wants to believe in fantasy, in fireflies, in fairies, in whatever, and she is being torn apart on the other side by the reality of war and all sorts of things. This is an incredible film, and the score, we talked about scores earlier when you were talking about this is one of the scores that I feel when it comes on, I cannot help but get whelmed and want to tear up. This is a completely beautiful film. Guillermo del Toro is an incredible filmmaker, and he has made me feel so much by just reading subtitles. So I really wonder, this might be a top 10 film for me if it's in English, if I didn't have to just sit there, or if I just understand Spanish. That's not his fault. That's my fault. So, this is
Has
one
he
of
ever
those
tried to
beautiful
teach you
films I've ever
Spanish?
seen.
Because I don't think you're.
He hasn't reached out. It kind of pisses me off. I'm gonna be honest.
So we're just gonna let him off the hook. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So, like I said, if either of you have not watched this, especially as parents, it is such a beautiful film. You both need to watch this.
Yeah, I the imagery is iconic. creature doing like the thing like this with its hands to like cover its eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know like the context of that at all, but I haven't even seen the movie and I've seen that. So I didn't realize it was how many movies, you can probably count on one hand, have the two genres of fantasy and war. It's just like not genres that typically
because it's based
really
on
interesting. What's it based on? Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, it's based on real historical events in the sense of like the Spanish Civil War during World War II. And so you take that in, and then again, the ending scene, it will break you. Yeah, it will absolutely break you. But this movie deserves, I think it's one of those films that like, because it's in Spanish, it's not talked about as much. But foreign films, and one of the things we talked about when we watched the Oscars or as this podcast has evolved, it's like, no, foreign films have just as much to offer as anything else. And this is one of those films that define that.
Oh, yeah. I think Parasite was like the one that said, oh, we're a little more cultured than we give ourselves credit for.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Guys, we crushed it. We crowned half a James Bond champion. We got to fucking dive into the top 20 now. I mean, shit's getting real. It was an emotional Broforce Squad episode, right? Like, Jesus Christ. Everyone at home's crying. Their Kleenex.
I teared up.
Yeah, a lot. You were on mute, though, so the people at home didn't know. Before we let the people go, let's give some closing words of wisdom. Banner, what do you want to say to the fans? Any advice you have for them?
You know, it's been a little while. Let's just continue to make sure we're pulling over for those emergency vehicles, please. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in what I've seen here recently, but I'm not necessarily happy about it. We can tighten it up a little bit, okay? When you hear them, look around. Let's get to the side. Let's not tailgate anybody. Let's not pass people when they get over. Just everybody do your part.
Yeah, just because we're doing well doesn't mean we need to get complacent and lazy. Got to keep our foot on the gas. Cycling, how about you?
I said this before, but guys, you need to prioritize yourselves. If you see like a fire truck or ambulance coming, get in their way. That's your path. Like, don't let them get in your way. Like, who's going to declare? The siren
is a challenge, right?
Yeah. And I truly believe like this is your life. Take it when you can get it, because no one else is going to hand anything to you.
Yeah, that person in the ambulance, you don't know.
Everyone can see Banner's face right now.
I love how
guys, don't do that. I'm joking. Do not do that.
As a really good host, I have to agree with both of you, even though you have clearly adverse opinions.
It was already an emotional episode. Banner was already crying again. He's like, God damn it.
Oh, man.
The odds of the person in that ambulance being someone you know and care about, very slim.
It's minimal. Minimal.
So I would just say risk it.
There's still a chance. Still a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
What I'm hearing is I need to shrink my inner circle. That way the odds are even less that I know the person in that.
Love that.
Yeah, cut people off who matter to you. That's the message here.
That's what we are about on the Broforce.
You know what? That'll be my closing words of wisdom. Shrink your inner circle. Make people earn it.
Yeah. Who are they?
Yeah, exactly. Dad. All right, for the mad scientist Brian Banner and our legal counsel Ronnie Cycli, I'm the mayor Jeff Hornacek. We are the Broforce Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, anywhere you find audio podcasts. If you type in Broforce Squad as 3 separate words. We also have a website on the internet called broforcesquad.com. Find anything we've ever posted there. And if I didn't mention YouTube, type in those same 3 words there. You'll find us. Until next time, we'll see you. We're definitely not in the back of an ambulance as we're recording this. So, like Cycli said, veer in front of it and everything will work out fine.
It's fucked up, guys.
I think it's sued.